Hey guys. Kyle was really good. Wow. My name's Annette. I'm going to do a spoken word. No music involved, so just mixing it up a little bit here. This is called Forever and Ever, and I wrote it on the 1st of this month. So you're the first people to hear it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Okay. Once upon a time, in a land far away, God said, "Let there be light." And it shone without rays or origin. No stars, no light bulbs, just light. He laughed when darkness fled, too startled to fight, and for everyone with OCD, there's hope, because he started to organize, separating churning waters with spacers he called skies. And then he put the water in bowls, and land rose jagged and bare until God decided to decorate and sprinkled trees and flowers there. It looked good, and it was good. And then he invented time, the sun and moon and stars, and their only job was to shine. And after all that, he made living things. Swimmers and flyers. Think about it. Scales and feathers. Fruitful multipliers meant to fill our world, so every time I watch a hawk hang on the breeze, I'll remember I'm not glued to the sidewalk, but meant for heaven. And every Shark Week episode reminds me there are things I can't control. Creation flowed out of him, and he must have been on a roll because he liked everything and kept going. He made animals too, fuzzy ones and stripy ones and fat ones and ones with long noses and ones that more waddle than run and ones that climb trees and ones that run into trees when they get surprised and ones like platypuses and walruses that really look more comprised than created. And I think he had fun. But they weren't enough. And he said, "I'll make one who's like me." So he made people to take care of the trees and name all the ones he had just finished making. And the people were beautiful. Somehow in their being, not outside but in, they didn't just want to be, but to create and to know, to tame things and to grow fields and forests and climb stuff. So from the top, they could feel the wonder inside that makes them think nothing at all had been real until they got to the summit and found more than they knew before. It's that thing that doesn't care about being despised or dull or poor or different, that pushes us to explore and discover, to choose one person over any other and say, forever and ever. And God said, "Love me," because he made them to do it. But there was a snake, a liar, who told them to quit. He said, "God says, love me, but he doesn't love you. If he did, there wouldn't be anything that he'd withhold from you." And somehow their love got out of order and they loved a tree instead. They tried to hide in their garden, but they couldn't hide being dead. God found them. He said, "This was wrong. And from now on, your days will feel hard and long, but I refuse to leave you alone." He took the snake's legs. He let them feel pain. He sent them away. And they waited and waited until one day, once upon a time, in a land far away, God said, "Let there be light," and it shone without rays or origin and was a person who looked exactly like God, who laughed when darkness fled, who gave beauty to the flawed and jagged and bare, who brought order back to churning seas, whose only job was to shine, bright enough for the blind to see. And when God said, "Love me," he said, "I do," and climbed to the summit to show me more of God than I knew before. He put my love back in order. God climbed a tree. You see, he didn't care about being despised or dull or poor or different. He was secure enough to put on skin so when he chose the tree, I could choose him over any other and hear him say, "Forever and ever." There's a part of that story that always gets left out. But this is the best part. This is what the story is about. Once upon a time, in a land far away, God said, "Let there be light." and it shone without rays or origin, and everybody could see because of it. And those people didn't know night because their world was lit by God's grace and glory. There were no more churning seas, and everything was covered with trees and flowers, and the hawks hung on the breeze, and the animals lived in peace and didn't eat each other. And the people were beautiful because they were free to create and to know, to tame things and to grow fields and forests and climb stuff. So from the top, they could find more than they knew before. And God was there with them, saying, love me. And they did it. Because, you see, when God climbed the tree, he showed them that he did not leave them alone. He kept his word, did his job. He rose and shone so bright they dried their tears, burned their pain and death, and scorched their darkest fears until they were only ashes. There was nothing left to undo. Finally, everything was right and new, and every person got to choose, and chose one person over any other, and said to God, forever and ever.